black leaders in the wake of Plessy Ferguson. There were two I want to talk about. Booker T. Washington, or Washington. He took the conservative approach, if you will, and W.E.B, William Edward Burgard. DuBois or DuBois, depending upon how you want to pronounce that. Most black people that I know refer to him as DuBois. There was a TV show a long time ago called, I don't know if it was called Benson. I think it was called Benson. And his name was Benson DuBois. So he used the French pronunciation. DuBois or DuBois is known for the radical approach, although underneath it all, these two guys were probably more in agreement than they ever could have agreed upon themselves face to face. Booker T was the successor to Frederick Douglass in the wake of the Civil War. He was a Southerner. He saw no distinction between vocational education and regular education. He stressed self-help. There, I guess I've already said that. No distinction between vocational education and higher education. He founded and helped to build, with his own hands, Tuskegee Institute. Like I say, the conservative approach. DuBois was a Northerner. He grew up one of 3 or 4 black families in town, grew up with whites, got a PhD from Harvard. Ultimately, when he first graduated, he could not get into Harvard, and so he went to a Southern black school and got to know discrimination firsthand, became somewhat bitter as a result of that experience. Went to Berlin to study, came back, continued at Harvard, did get the PhD there, and in his writings he stressed something which he called his talented 10th plan. Whereas Washington wanted black people to become so extremely competent that whites could not do without their services. Wanted them to become excellent mechanics, excellent masons, excellent carpenters, excellent auto mechanics, and hang together. DuBois wanted a college-educated cadre of leaders that would ensure the future of black people in society. To that end, again, Du Bois helped found the Niagara Movement. Now, the Niagara Movement in 1905 was a small organization which ultimately merged into the NAACP. When the NAACP was formed, it was largely a white organization, but it absorbed the Niagara Movement and it kept Du Bois on as one of its officers and the editor of its journal, The Crisis. Higher education, we've got the junior college coming out of the woodwork. We've got graduate education to deal with. Let's do that. We are coming to an end. Don't nod off yet. During the period, we have the emergence of the junior college, thanks to William Rainey Harper, Alexis Lange, and Anthony Caminetti. Harper was at the University of Chicago. While there, he established 2 divisions. This was in 1892. The academic division and what he called the University Division. In 1896, that was changed to junior and senior divisions. He influenced many high schools in the area to take on 2 more years, and in 1901, he created Joliet Junior College, which is the oldest junior college still in existence. There were a couple others that were founded earlier, but they have passed away. Alexis Lange in California was among the first people to utilize Henry Freese's diploma method while at Michigan. Do you remember that? The diploma method was the forerunner of accreditation. If you graduated from an acceptable high school, you could get into the University of Michigan without an entrance exam. Lange did that. He got his doctorate, moved to California, became the chair of the Department of Education at the University of California. While there, he helped to define the upper and lower level certificate plans of the University of California. His writings did much to establish the legal basis for California's junior college system. Caminetti was a congressman. He was in the forefront of the progressive movement in California. As a state senator, he authors the law permitting the offering of public junior college courses. This was passed in 1907. This was really nothing more than an extension of his own bill 20 years earlier, which had established high schools as extensions of grammar schools. You can make a case that Caminetti is the real father of the junior college. I prefer to think of him as the father of the community college. The junior college of the time was simply a transfer institution. It taught the first 2 years of a 4-year college. What Caminetti had in mind was the much more inclusive and much more wide-ranging institution that we have today. Typical origins of a junior college at the time: the upward extension of an existing high school, a small 4-year institution which reverted to 2 years, the efforts of local philanthropy. Someone dies, leaves money in a will, specifies that there's going to be a college. Let's have a junior college. Or the evolution of an institution originally designed to serve rural youth. Many agriculture stations were turned into community colleges. This is, don't bother looking at this or don't bother learning it. This is simply the evolution of Teachers College Columbia. Began as a kitchen garden association. That was an early home economics group. Became associated with industrial education. After a while, became New York College for the Training of Teachers. Became Teachers College, and ultimately becomes the Pedagogy Department of Columbia University, known forever after as Teachers College Columbia. Kind of like, at the time, the place to be. This was the Valhalla for education folks.